This movie is made by the group ELS3. It deals with the problem of a large riding establishment. The owner has bought a couple new horses and wants to introduce them to the existing herd. Both groups consist of mares, geldings and youngsters. Question 1. What happens if two different horse groups meet in the wild? Horses are social herd animals that prefer to live in a group. Feral and wild horses usually consist of several small family bands who share a given territory. The bands consist from 3 up to over a dozen individuals. The bands have a hierarchical structure consisting of a stallion, a leading mare, a couple mares and their offspring. The family band is part of the herd, which can consist of 100 to 150 animals. Next to the family bands, bachelor bands run within the herd. A bachelor band consists mostly of young stallions without an own family band. Normally the hierarchical structure within the family bands and within the herd is stable. The bands tolerate each other as long as enough food, water and space is given. If the hierarchical structure in the family band is derelicted, it might have an influence on the whole herd. Bands may get a new composition with new members. Established social units are not easily open to admitting strangers. However, as one relationship alters in a band, the change may interact throughout the social unit, causing other alterations. However, the bachelor groups are not that stable as other bands. In groups containing geldings, sometimes a gelding will occupy the alpha position with mares and stallions subordinate to him. Horses do have a preference for group members, which within bands horses form pair bonds. Horses prefer partners of the same age, sex, similar hierarchy, breed, type and have kinship ties. Horses keep close proximity with their friends. Scientists investigated that a herd without a mature stallion is likely to form two groups. The first group consists of adult mares and the second group consisting of adult geldings and subadults. Mares show intensive mutual grooming to each other when no harem stallion is present. Adult mares prefer to bond with other mares that are of the similar rank and a similar age. Play behavior was observed between adult geldings and subadults. Question 2. How to integrate a couple horses into the herd. There are several ways of integrating horses. First of all, it has to be sure that all the horses are healthy and sound. The horses can be integrated one by one or can be introduced to the herd as an established group. The newcomers should meet each other across a fence. A small field could be divided into several sections for that. The animals become familiar with each other. It is important to ensure that the fence is solid and safe, and somebody should keep an eye on the horses to be present in case of fight at the fence. 15 to 20 minutes after feeding, the newcomers can be brought together for a short while. In that way there will be no food fights because the horses are grazing or resting. On daily basis times, that the new horses are together can be extended. It has to be made sure that the paddock or the field is big enough that there is space for flight. The new horses will develop a hierarchy between each other, and preferences within the small herd will give the individual horse a feeling of comfort and safety. The existing herd should be always close to the new horses, that they can see and hear each other. When the herd structure in the new group of horses is tightened, both herds should be put into fields next to each other to get contact across the fence. Later, the two groups can be brought together into the field, like the individuals before. A custodian should be present. Through fighting, including chasing, kicking and biting, the newcomers will find their position in the herd hierarchy within the first 2 days. Minor injuries are given, but if the horses are in a safe surrounding, the chances of serious injuries are low. Protecting for the horses' legs, as well as horses should wear no hind shoes, can prevent injuries. Integration into a bigger herd is mostly easier. Also, the introduction of a horse of the same sex can keep scuffs to a minimum. Integrating one by one. Integrating one by one. Also, by integrating one by one, safety aspects should be considered as well. The safest way of integrating one by one is to take one of the dominant horses and introduce it to one of the new horses in a new location and keep them together for about 2 weeks. The first meeting should be over the fence and prevent injuries. After 2 weeks, the two will go back to the herd. It is most likely that the dominant horse will protect the new herd member. This process has to be repeated with every new bought horse. Question 3. Which way of integration is advisable? To choose one way of integration, several objectives have to be considered. First, a proper health status of each animal has to be assessed before the horses come together. Stress to all involved animals should be kept to a minimum. The hierarchy within the existing herd should be disturbed as less as possible. Normal pattern of behavior should be respected, and enough time for integration needs to be provided. Enough space must be available to give the individual horses the possibility for flight and retreat to prevent fearful situations and injuries. According to the most effective and appropriate integration is to introduce an established group to the existing herd. Integrating one by one takes a lot of time and effort. Also, the hierarchy in the established herd is constantly disturbed. The integration of an established group is close to the natural behavior patterns to the feral horses. Established bands tolerate each other when there is enough space, food and water provided.